It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Fantadrax TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine indeed. We're back once again with your weekly recap of everything Star Wars. I'm your host, Brian Cameron, and with me as always, Mr. Paul Naylor, and my phone's ringing. How unprofessional, I didn't switch it off.
I thought that was a fanfare because I managed to get back
That's
in.
my Sky News alert going on.
Oh, right. Okay.
What's happened
news.
in the world? Let's get some breaking news to kick off the show.
Yeah, let's find out.
The BBC bosses have quit over the heads of the Donald Trump carry-on. There we go.
Congratulations. There you go. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, there we go. Breaking news. Donald Trump has responded to the BBC bosses quitting today.
More importantly, breaking news. Say Ibithas can get from Surrey. Well, no, not from Surrey. Mark did most of the driving, Mr. Newbold did. But I managed to get from where Mark lives back home in time for this show. Because there's a number of people that I met, some lovely people that we met while we were over at the Smugglers event in Surrey today and yesterday that are fans of the show, which is lovely when you get to speak to these people and meet them in person, have a chat about all things Star Wars. So, hello everybody that said hello over the last few days to Good Morning Tatooine.
It's very nice of them. How was the show, Paul?
Brian, it was pretty good. It was up there with the very best. It was up there with Fan Fun Day and Echo Base. The quality of guests was amazing. There's a lot of guests that it would have been either their first show or certainly they've not done many shows in the past. So day one was primarily Andor related. So that was Saturday. People there like Anton Lesser, Jacob James Bezic, Ben Bailey Smith, Michael Jen, Robert Ems, who we've met a number of times. Fan of the show, Nick Owenford, but Nick did tell me he might be at a bonfire display tonight, so maybe Nick's here, maybe he's not.
Maybe.
Well, you'll see us on the catch-up anyway, Nick. Jonathan Cass, who again I think is a friend of Fanthas. John Joe O'Neill, the list goes on, but Brasso was there. Good old Brasso. Joplin 16, yeah, you could have met Brasso, Brian.
I couldn't.
I know you were a big fan.
Jonathan on Facebook asking the question, where is this Smugglers event?
It was somewhere in Surrey. I couldn't tell you exactly because I didn't do the driving. I just sat there.
Get in the car.
I just watched the trees. Yeah, but it was really good. Yeah, it was at a college campus, not far from Surrey Centre itself, but. Really good event. There are plans for it to happen again next year. It'll be at the same location, if not the same building, because there's some renovation work going on for bigger buildings. So I think it will be in a better room because at times it did get a little bit tight in there, shall we say? Because there was a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of footfall and there's a lot of autographs being purchased. It was a really good event.
It was in Weybridge at the Brooklands Technical College.
That's exactly where it was, Brian. I was just going to say
there
that.
There we go. Liam Bell confirming that as well.
Hey, Liam. Yes, I was speaking to Liam earlier. Got a very nice R2-D2 hoodie on. You'd love that, Brian, with your love of droids.
Well, with my love of droids, I was freaked out watching Elon Musk's press conference for Tesla this week with the Optimus droids. Yes. And his comment, outrageous comment, that they're going to be better than R2-D2 and C-3PO, and everyone will want one. I can name at least one person who would never have such a thing in my house.
Would that be you?
That would be
me. And then today was really good as well. So today was probably your more traditional Star Wars signers, so people that you would have seen at various events over the year, Brian, like Michael Carter, who else was there? Hugh Spite, who was a Gamorrean guard, and Pruneface.
Don't think you can call him that nowadays.
You can't call him Pruneface. Yeah. But I had a really nice chat with the guy who played General Medine. Trying to think of his name off the top of my head, and we had a good chat about the beard, the beard that was glued on. All these little snippets.
Dermot Crowley.
That's it, Dermot. Yeah. And when you get speaking to these people, you realise the type of shows that they've been in the films prior to and subsequently to their Star Wars related projects, and they're big deals. And Mike Edmonds, all the events I've been to over the years, and I've seen Mike at, it was the first time that I've actually sat down and interviewed him. What a lovely bloke! What a genuinely nice guy he is. So I thanked him for his contribution to Star Wars and to other things. I mean, he's been in all sorts of fantasy things. But we got talking about the safety dance video that he did with the men without hats. And I said, "Oh, is there any chance that you might put up on stage because they're actually on tour at the moment?" He says, "I'm in a bloody wheelchair." I said, "I did notice, Mike." But yeah, no, both days were brilliant. Got to have chats with many stars that have certainly meant a lot to me over the years, and meet a lot of lovely people that were there sharing the same experience. Very good event. Look forward to next year.
Excellent. So a good week was had. My
Yes.
highlight of my week, and it's completely not related to anything Star Wars as usual. Watching the new series Pluribus on Apple TV. If you haven't seen that yet,
It rings a bell. Who's
brilliant.
in that?
Yeah, it's
Who's
made
in
by
it?
the creator of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
That's right. Yeah. Has it got
And it
like
goes
a
back.
female
It's
lead?
it's really it's a light comedy, sci-fi, weird kind of experimental kind of thing. Very similar to his work when he did work on the X-Files. So it was really up my cup of tea. And I don't know why, but I related to it very well. It's about the unhappiest person on earth and how everybody round about them is so happy, smiley, helpful, and it's the most horrible thing in the world. It's like if you ever accompany me to Disneyland and my initial reaction as I walk into Disneyland, I hate the sugar-coated niceness of the place.
I've had the fortune or the misfortune to do that with you, Brian. It is a treat.
Everyone else's reaction to arriving at Disneyland is, "Oh, this is wonderful," and I'm like, "Oh, I hate this. This is horrendous."
Yes. I recall your joyful look.
Yeah, but it is the most fascinating, entertainment, funny program I've seen in years, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the rest of the series as well.
Brilliant. Well, that's why I'm here. I bring balance.
Should we see what we're going to be talking about Star Wars related on the show?
Yes, mate.
Right. First up, we're going to be looking at the 10th anniversary celebration trailer for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Excellent. I'm leaning in now. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has been nominated at the 43rd Golden Joystick Awards. That's brilliant. I love the fact that there's Joystick Awards. Fantastic.
Jon Favreau is also getting honoured. He's going to be honoured by the Visual Effects Society.
Good old John. Farthest From 27. That's on Saturday, the 6th of December. Tickets are now on sale.
The news this week for gamers, GTA 6 has been delayed, kind of expected. Also comes at a time when they're having a very difficult time because they've sacked a number of employees and being accused of union busting in the process. So it's an interesting week for the makers of GTA 6, who originate in my home country. So the game's actually been delayed to November 2026. It's no longer clashing with the Mandalorian Grogu. We'll be discussing the impact of that. Little tip to people. If you get your wife pregnant in February, you'll get some time off in November.
A further tip to people: don't get somebody else's wife pregnant.
If you had that idea previously and you thought the game was coming out in May, oh, you're too late.
Yeah, you are too late. Oh dear. What else have we got coming up? Oh, Rian Johnson on whether negative fan reactions stopped his trilogy. No, not at all, says Ryan.
So now we all have to be positive about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, otherwise we will get something.
Mr. Newbold has joined the
hello,
comments.
Mr. Newbold. Thank you for the lift today, sir. much appreciated.
The last thing we're going to be talking about, why not talk a little bit more about The Hunt for Ben Solo? Rumours, and I threw this one out there last week on the show, is the stage now set for a sequel trilogy revival? I suggested that with the connection of the Bourne films between the writer of the Rey film and the writer of The Hunt for Ben Solo, could they be working together and creating a trilogy? Who knows? But we'll be discussing that a little bit more. So some interesting pieces of news to discuss, Paul.
Yeah. There's always something going on, isn't there? Let's get straight into story.
Oh no! First, we need to speak about this. The McDonald's supper.
Shh.
That's very unhealthy.
He always dobs me in, doesn't he?
He
What's
does.
like?
He's just giving that news to the whole of the internet. Shocking.
It was shocking. He even had extra nuggets.
Extra nuggets.
There you go.
Is that legal?
For you. It is in Surrey.
Let's talk news. Let's get the Fanta Tracks website up and let's agree to some cookies and hide the adverts as usual. Galaxy of Heroes, it's its 10th anniversary. I'm not a fan of this game, to believe actually, but it's managed to last 10 years. Yeah. I just don't think there's much playability to it, Paul.
No.
It pushes itself really hard. Constantly advertised, it constantly in my feed on TikTok. And I gave it a shot and I played it for about a week and I just find it incredibly repetitive, and it's all about constantly opening the app and playing for 10 minutes in order to get today's challenges complete, in order to get the next character or whatever. So it's one of these games that just sucks you into constantly playing it, but the actual play of the game is nothing and boring. And it's all about sucking you in, I think, to spend some £2-3 at a time, and not a fan.
It's not something I've ever got involved with. I remember the little adverts popping up where you basically build a team of characters, don't you, to oppose another team. Yes, Matt, it was brilliant. Good seeing you too, mate.
Should we have a little look at the trailer whilst I criticise it?
Yeah, go for it.
Oshuga Flunka Yami.
So, the trailer looks great. It gives you the impression that the game's exciting and whatever, but it just doesn't play like that.
Yeah, there was a hint of what the playability was like in there, and it's kind of nice, but it's not something that I've ever got involved with.
No. It's all about incremental purchase and repeat play, and just the gameplay doesn't stack up to me. But it's made it to 10 years, so someone's playing it.
It reminds me of the time many years ago when my little boy accidentally paid about £300 for different things. Yeah.
Important question in the chat. Did you get Mr. Newbold a Happy Meal?
No, but he did have nuggets. But he had one of these funky, one of these funky from around the world burgers. I think it was the spicy pineapple things.
Oh, yuck!
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. You know what he's like, you know.
Yeah, Jonathan agrees. Not enough going on with the game. I think that's true. They make it look nice in the trailer. They want you to play every day with incremental purchase, but there's just not enough gameplay there to make it something special for me. So we'll pass on Galaxy Heroes.
But I tell you what, 10 years.
But fair play to them for making it 10 years, because not many mobile games last that long.
No.
talk about another
play.
game that's doing critically incredibly well, and that's Indiana Jones. And
Now you own this game, don't you, bro?
I
You've
do,
got this.
and I've not played it yet. I've owned it for almost a
I've
year.
still not played it.
Still in the box. I got the giant collector's edition. It comes with the globe and everything, and looks spectacular. It's actually sat in a box over in the corner. I might take it out this weekend.
Why don't you do a live unboxing now? No, I'm only kidding. Don't.
But 20th of November sees the 43rd Golden Joystick Awards take place in London. Nominated for Ultimate Game of the Year alongside 11 other games is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which has received a rave reviews, it's fair to say. Should we remind ourselves of what the game is?
Yeah, it's got a great trailer, this has.
Every good story is true in one way or another. And I know one you haven't heard of. Dr. Jones. So what I'd like to do is put the guns down.
Go ahead. I'll knock your teeth out.
So what brings you to the Vatican, Indy?
I'm looking for someone. He stole something from me, and I mean to find out why.
Right now, I'm looking into the disappearance of my sister. And I believe Emmerich Voss is responsible.
So, this great circle, they think it's a conduit of some kind of power, correct?
Boss certainly does. He believes it'll secure his place in history. I'll have to study it some more. A circle must be complete to what? There's always a trigger.
Good luck, Indy.
Legends say these relics hold a force that can change the course of history. They're messing with powers beyond your control.
You should know by now. I am always in control.
You're good at this, Dr. Jones.
I know enough to get me into trouble.
Don't you want to know what this is all about?
You're damn right I do.
Great. Looks great. Plays great. Interesting
Been out
mysteries. And what a
almost-
soundtrack.
Yeah, it's been out almost a year.
It has. Scary.
Is that some sampled version of Harrison Ford's voice, or is it?
It's
somebody
not.
else
It's
acting it?
actually an actor. And Harrison
I had,
Ford
um,
actually came out and praised him for his performance. I'm going to look up his
Sounds
name.
really good. Yeah, it sounds
Uh,
fantastic.
I'm going to look up his name because he deserves a shout out.
Yeah, it's a really, really good version of Harrison's voice.
Da, 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 da. It's not called Han Solo in the Great Circle. Troy Baker was the actor
Right.
that played the voice, and he got a shout out somewhere from Harrison Ford back at the time as well, just because
Yeah.
Harrison Ford was impressed with the performance.
Very good, yeah. But I mean, those are obviously sort of scenes, not playable scenes. There was some playable content in there, but as a narrative, it looks really good. Very Indiana Jones.
the next big Disney animation film. This is kind of slightly off topic, but somewhere. When you talk about people with great voices, Jim Hanks, Tom Hanks' brother, does a lot of his voiceover work for toys and games and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Jim is actually doing the voice in the next big Disney animation film that's coming out, alongside Neil Morrissey from Men Behaving Badly, of all people. I need to look it up because I just thought, is that Disney being cheap and not paying for Tom Hanks and just getting his brother because everyone will think it's him?
I think it's called Sex Toy Story.
That's nice. What is it called? I can't remember. I'm sure it was Neil Morrissey.
Yeah, probably. Well, you watch it, isn't it? Could be the other Morrissey at Walking Dead.
It could be. Now I'm going to fall flat on my face, and it wasn't him at all. I'm googling people. A lot of googling going on tonight. Can I find it quickly? Probably not. I probably made it all up in my head.
Too much cheese, Brian. I've told you.
Cheese.
You'll have these weird dreams.
I can't find what it is.
Oh no.
Hexed. That's what it's called.
Okay. Hexed. Okay.
And I'm just going to click on the casting crew. I'm on IMDb. There we go. Yeah, it is Neil Morrissey.
Oh, well done.
And it's Jim Hanks. And CeeLo Green is in it. Remember CeeLo Green?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Forget you.
It's a weird, very weird cast. And I just thought, why have they gone with Jim Hanks? And it's like, because Tom Hanks too expensive. We'll just ask his brother, and we just won't tell anyone. And they'll all think it's him.
He's like a Timu Tom Hanks, isn't he? So they saved a bit of money there, so that's good.
Yeah, but yeah, fantastic. Troy Baker is Indiana Jones: A Great Circle. He deserves an award himself. But yeah, Ultimate Game of the Year. Got a tough task to win it, but good luck to it.
Yeah. Come on, Indy.
Yeah. Wish they were doing something with Indiana Jones, to be fair.
It'll happen.
Maybe the man who will make it happen is Mr. Jon Favreau.
Good old Jon.
Currently directing The Mandalorian Grogu. Well, I guess he's finished to be in the editing process. He's going to get honoured at this year's Visual Effects Society, which, well, he has been honoured because it took place on Friday night. And he's going to be made an honorary member for all his work, pushing the boundaries of VFX, which is interesting because, the Mandalorian TV show, part of its success was the fact that it pushed the boundaries of technology. And it makes me wonder, will there be something in the Mandalorian Grogu that pushes that as well? Because I guess one of the criticisms, and George Lucas actually made this criticism, is understood, on the sequel trilogy, that it didn't push enough technological boundaries. And just wonder if there will be something in the Mandalorian Grogu.
I think, well, if anything, we'll probably get a version of Luke Skywalker that looks absolutely spot on. I think that's what will happen. That'd be fantastic. And maybe, if we cross our fingers and that's Santa nicely, we might get Han and Leia as well.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I do hope so. It's time for something like that.
Yeah.
And Jon Favreau is probably the right person to make that happen. So congratulations to him. Honour, I think everyone will agree, richly deserved. Yeah.
I mean, he's been sort of pivotal in certainly in the Mandalorian when that came about. That kind of revived a lot of people's interest in Star Wars, because there are people that are very critical over the sequel trilogy, but love the Mandalorian. Seasons 1 and 2 in particular were fantastic. Season 3 a bit patchy, but if for nothing else, I thank Jon for the Mandalorian. Great stuff.
And we'll discover your thoughts on the sequel trilogy in just a moment as we discuss.
Yes, we will. Some deep breaths.
Deep breaths. But first of all, let's talk about something we can all get behind, sure.
Yay.
Retro Star Wars toy shows and one of the best out there, Farthest From and Fording Bridge, down in the very bottom of England, it would be fair to say.
It's quite difficult to get to.
A town that is the farthest from civilization.
It's worth getting there, but it is tricky to find. Yeah,
it is. What's a town near it with the cathedral?
Ooh, well, it's in the New Forest, so I'm trying to think where that would be.
New Forest Cathedral. We're using Google a lot today.
We are. It's good old Google.
It's not Winchester. It's Salisbury. If you want to go and see a nice steeple, Salisbury's the place to go, according to Russian state media.
Russians.
Because if you're like me, you fly down into London, train to Salisbury, and then you've got to try and figure out how you're going to make the last leg, which is generally taxi, into Fording Bridge. So it's definitely a planes, trains, automobiles place to get to. But once you're there, 2-course Christmas meal, a vintage toy show, followed by Thank the Maker, where you can get hear from not only Pablo Hidalgo, member of the Story Group, but the people who make the Star Wars films, and you get a fascinating insight into the world of Star Wars all in one weekend. What more could you want?
The show this year is based around The Force Awakens. So you got people there like Lee Towsey, who was the R2-D2 controller for the film. Brian Herring's going to be there. Of course, Brian was BB-8 and the Porgs, amongst others. I went along to And More, and that was a fantastic event. And this looks to be of the same quality. So go and support Dave Tree and everything that he does at Fording Bridge. You won't regret it. It's a fantastic weekend of events. And good luck finding it. No, you'll find it.
And also the world premiere of the documentary, The Roundtable Creatures of the Film, with special guests.
Ooh, yeah, excellent.
So lots going on this year. Book your tickets now. Head to allthecoolstuff.co.uk to get a link to where to buy the tickets.
Yep.
And good times ahead, just in time for Christmas. Treat yourself to something retro.
Are you able to get along to that one, bro?
Not a chance in hell.
No,
not that time of year, I'm afraid. It's very, very difficult, and it's a massive time commitment for me to get down, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately can't really do the Christmas one.
Yeah, I'm out of the country that weekend, but otherwise I would definitely have been there.
Not on another holiday.
Tenerife.
Gee whiz, that's number 9, is it, for the year?
No, only 8. 8.
Oh, it's okay then. If it was 9, it was excessive, but 8 will let you
Brian,
off with.
I'm not greedy. Come on.
So Paul will be on his 8th holiday before the GTA 6 comes out.
I'm 9th, 10th. I know.
And we got the news this week. First of all, we got the news that I think 40 staff have been dismissed from their Canadian and UK offices by Rockstar Games for, they said, sharing corporate information with non-company members.
Right.
Those employees hit back and said that it was a Discord group for organising a union and that Rockstar were just involved in union busting. It will probably end in court. We don't know one way or the other where the truth lies, or whether it lies probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And they also had their earnings call this week, where they announced that GTA 6 Grand Theft Auto 6 has been pushed back to November from its planned release in May. And so it now will no longer clash with The Mandalorian and Grogu, because I had previously said, and many other people have also said, that its release just before The Mandalorian and Grogu was not a good thing, because people would be addicted to playing the game and would rather stay at home and play the game and wait a few months for The Mandalorian and Grogu to appear on Disney+.
Yeah.
So suddenly, it's no longer going to clash with The Mandalorian and Grogu, who's now got something of a free run, and it will clash instead with the latest Hunger Games film
on whistle. So, I mean, it was something that I hadn't really picked up on until you started saying about it a few months back, Brian, about the potential clash. And on paper, you look at it and you think, well, surely that's not a problem. But you're right. I mean, that's what people will be doing. And not just like young people. I mean, there's going to be people of all generations that are big fans of GTA that as soon as they get hold of that game, they're going to be playing the life out of that, aren't they? So, And so looking at the notes there as well, the next big film release after The Mandalorian is The Masters of the Universe. So the Mando was basically got 2 weeks to really do well at cinemas before Masters of the Universe comes out. Because by all accounts, that's very good as well.
Yeah, and having a fortnight's what you need, really, to be honest.
Yeah. That first fortnight is always crucial, isn't it?
Yeah, and the studios, it's a double-edged sword because the studios push for a massive weekend because it makes great reading. Yeah. But they get a higher percentage of the take-ins from the earlier weeks in a release, and as the release goes on, they get less and less of the take. So that's why the studios push for massive openings.
Yeah.
Should we remind ourselves of what we can expect from The Mandalorian?
I don't mind. Let's have a little look.
And Grogu. Good job, baby, indeed.
It's growing on me. I must admit, it's growing.
It kind of is. I'm not as offended by it as I was when I first saw it. I'm not a fan of big monsters and big robots and things like that. Don't impress me that much. I have a fear.
Who are you, Shania Twain?
Yeah. No, she doesn't impress me much either. And there was a heavy element of that in the trailer. I like it much more like when he's kicking the barman and he goes crashing over the bar. That's what I want to see in a Mandalorian movie more so. I'm still waiting to see what's the purpose of the AT-AT. Why have they built it like that? Slow, plundering, long legs. Why? You know?
Hang on.
So I want to see that in the film because there must be a reason why they've built that machine. It must have an advantage being designed like that.
You've had 45 years to ask this question.
I have. I still don't have an answer. It's basically what I'm pointing out.
Well, good luck. Maybe
what we
in the
saw
next
there was
45.
one of its additional weaknesses. I don't know what the advantage is of having a slow, plodding, moving machine with long legs.
Especially on a narrow ridge on a mountain.
Yeah, it doesn't seem the most effective use of your military equipment.
No.
But I'm concerned because I think they're going to play Grogu up to be too cutesy when I would much rather see him evolve and grow up and get a mohawk and kill people.
I want to finally hear what his voice is like. I want to hear him speak. It's about
what do you want him to say?
Grogu. All right, how am you? I want him to have a really thick Birmingham accent. All right. Yeah, all right.
wish they'd set it a few years in the future and they had aged Grogu somewhat. I just feel that there's not going to be enough differential from TV, and it's just going to look like a high budget TV show. And then that's the easy criticism to give it, I know. But yeah, don't know. It's going to have a rough ride, I think, this movie. And I hope that's like Solo and it's just a really fun adventure. But unlike Solo, I hope that it finds its audience.
Has it got a spectacularly high budget or not?
It's not a sensationally high budget.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing because it means it can be more profitable at an earlier rate.
Yeah.
I just don't know, Paul. What you have there has to be a justification for it to be on the big screen, or you end up, and I'm gonna bring it up again, Downton Abbey, which is just a big budget episode of TV on the big screen.
Downton Abbey alert, folks. Downton Abbey alert. Spoiler alert.
But there's no justification for them to be movies, other than they can scale it up and have a train, because trains are incredibly expensive to film. If you weren't aware.
But even when we saw the initial trailer of Mandalorian at Celebration, and when we've seen it subsequently on the big screen, when they've sort of they did the episode where they had IG-12 with Grogu controlling it, which is shown on the big screen. It worked on the big screen. It looked like it deserved. Yes. Yeah, it looks like it deserves to be on the big screen. So, if anything, it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. Should Mando have started out on the small screen and gone to the big screen, or vice versa? So, I think it will work. I think that it's scalable because of the quality of the show. The prime concern really is, within the space of 2 hours, can they tell a story that effectively was probably going to originally be season 4? Mm-hmm. So, and like you said, there appears to be a lot of monster battles. Now, we're used to Mandalorian having maybe 1 or 2 monster battles throughout a season. Here, we look to get 2 or 3 or 4 in one film.
Weirdly,
it does tend to get a bit repetitive.
It could be that all this big monster battles happen in the space of 10 minutes, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know until you see the film. I eagerly await a second trailer, which will hopefully give us what the story's going to be, and so I can have something to grab onto and really look forward to. At the moment, I look forward to it as I do any other Star Wars film, but I'm not excited for it, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean. But I like trailers that either give misdirection or just don't give you any clue whatsoever. They're really ambiguous. I don't really want to know the story before I go in. I'd rather it be a nice big surprise, a pleasant one, please.
Should we talk about something that we should all be really excited for?
Am I going to be biting my nails?
We should all be really excited for Rian Johnson's sequel trilogy, because if we all say how much we love it, it won't happen.
I can't give this man praise enough. What a hero of mine. I only wish that he gets 6 films to do.
Oh, that's a great call. Rian Johnson has been interviewed at Newport Beach Film Festival and asked about the negative reaction to The Last Jedi. Why would people be negative against Last Jedi? What a wonderful film. And also in the same comment asked, is the negative reaction of The Last Jedi the reason why he's mooted? Trilogy is yet to happen. Now, I would say yes, and I think the answer is obviously yes, because clearly after The Last Jedi, Lucasfilm got a little bit scared, and you can see that in The Rise of Skywalker, so I don't think anyone can argue against it. The negative reaction to The Last Jedi has an impact. Delayed development of a sequel trilogy on the basis that it didn't move forward straight away because they announced it ahead of the game, and they were all guns a-blazing and celebrated in the way they announced it. Slammed on the brakes so much that he went away with his team, and in fact he took some members from Lucasfilm. as well, to form his new company, to go away and work with Netflix and to do the Knives trilogy of films. The third one's just out next month, and I think it's going to continue, and he's done a TV series and everything else. So it went from, I'm going to be making a Star Wars trilogy, to I'm going to grab onto every other project I can possibly do. So you can't tell me that negativity didn't have an impact, because clearly it did. But Rian Johnson says, no, not at all. In fact, it's the reason that I wanted to. My overall experience with putting the movie out and what you're talking about with fan feedback, I mean, first of all, I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan, so I know the deal. I know that Star Wars fans are passionate about this stuff. We love the stuff we love. We hate the stuff we hate. And we fight about it. And that's what's been happening since the original trilogy. I would point out that his trilogy was announced before The Last Jedi was out, and so before the negative feedback. So his comment there is a complete lie. I'm going to call him out on it. But if he thinks that the negative reaction is why he wants to do it, let's all be positive about The Last Jedi, and then he won't want to make it. Well, reverse psychology him. Liam, there. A single emoji can say it all.
Well done, Liam. That's spot on.
What's your take? Do you think that the brakes were put on his trilogy because of the reaction to The Last Jedi?
He's clearly got a talent. I will give him as much as that. However,
what can you elaborate on what his talent might be?
I genuinely think he can make good product. However, I just don't like him playing in the sandbox, as they say, with characters that I don't think would have evolved the way that he saw them evolving. Mainly Luke Skywalker. I don't get his interpretation of Luke. And all this subverting expectation nonsense that he always comes out with. Don't subvert expectation. If you want to subvert expectation, if you want to do something that isn't Star Wars, do something that isn't Star Wars. Come up with your own set of characters and do your own thing. And if it's strong enough, it will stand up shoulder to shoulder with Star Wars. I would have much rather have seen a confident, powerful Luke than the mess that we got. I mean, one of the worst scenes ever in Star Wars is Luke milking a dinosaur. It is horrible. And apparently, while that was being filmed, everybody on the set was laughing their heads off as if it was a fantastic sort of joke, apart from Mark Hamill. And I think he was probably thinking, just think of what this can buy, because I'm not enjoying this at all. We know Mark didn't enjoy making that, and I feel for him. I really do, because it's about the legacy. It's the legacy of it all. I can no longer watch Star Wars, the original Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back and Jedi, and enjoy them the same way I did before seeing the sequel trilogy, because I know what happens beyond what I'm watching. It does ruin the enjoyment of the original films. There's a lot of people that won't even accept that 7, 8 and 9 exist. 7, I kind of liked. I kind of liked The Force Awakens. But nah, after that it went downhill rapidly. So yeah, I don't really want Mr. Johnson getting involved in anything.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Here's the timeline. Okay. So November the 9th, 2017, before The Last Jedi came out, it was announced that he would be developing a new trilogy. He would be writing and directing the first one, and it would all be produced alongside his production partner. Yeah. After The Last Jedi came out, he was teasing details in January 2018 that would include characters from the other films. September, later that year, he said that the first film in his trilogy would be released once his thriller film Knives Out starring Daniel Craig was released. February 2019, the rumours started that his trilogy had been cancelled. He denied that. Kathleen Kennedy said that he was collaborating with David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who were working on their own trilogy. and that the four of them had met in May 2019 to lock down their plans for the films. However, by October 2019, Benioff and Weiss were gone. Their trilogy is not happening. Bob Iger then announced that there was going to be a slowdown in Star Wars films. Disney then announced their schedule for 2020 to 27, and there was Star Wars films due in 2023, 2025 and 2027. We've obviously missed the first two dates on that. 2027 is now going to be Starfighter. And then in July of this year, Rian Johnson actually said, nothing really happened with it. We had a great time working together, and they said, let's keep doing it. And I said, great. Occasionally, he would kick around ideas with Kathleen Kennedy, but the short version is that Knives Out happened. I went off and made Knives Out, and I was off to the races, busy making murder mysteries. It's the sort of thing, if down the line there's an opportunity to do it or something else in Star Wars, I would be thrilled. But right now I'm doing my own stuff and pretty happy. It's never going to happen.
No. Now, I'm perfectly happy for him to be doing his Knives Out stuff because it doesn't impact on Star Wars.
Yeah.
And, I have never watched the Knives Out film. I have no intention of watching it because I don't want to give him anything. I don't want to give him back anything at all. So I'm not watching anything that he produces.
Well, to be fair, you should put it on and leave the room and just leave it playing, because Netflix will think you've watched it. They'll keep making more, and it keeps them away from Star Wars.
That's actually there's some truth to that. Okay. But, I will put it on the screen. Yeah.
Lucasfilm aren't desperate for him to make it. Clearly, he's not desperate to make it. I think they all know the truth that whether you love The Last Jedi or not, you have to admit that there's toxicity around it.
Yeah.
So you can argue until you're blue in the face about whether you give in to the toxicity or not. Yeah. But the toxicity exists because The Last Jedi was incredibly offensive to some people. And some other people loved it. But if you're Disney and you want to make content that is enjoyable by the masses, so you don't start with a project that 50% will love it and 50% will hate it.
Yeah.
That's completely illogical. And this kind of runs into our next and final story, which is The Hunt of Ben Solo.
Yeah.
The sequel trilogy in itself has become divisive. The relationship between Rey and Kylo to some people is wonderful, the relos, and to some people it's quite horrific and sends off all the wrong signals. So again, you've got characters there who are very divisive. So do you put your money behind divisive characters, or do you create new characters and move forward in the hopes that you get the masses to enjoy it?
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit like what happened in The Walking Dead, where you've got the character of Maggie and Glenn, and Glenn gets brutally bludgeoned.
Love that scene.
Yeah. What was the name of that character?
Oh, don't, because he's got his own spin-off show.
He has, yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, blimey! Somebody quick. But yeah, that horrific scene where Glenn gets bludgeoned by Jeffrey D. Morgan as Negan. Yes.
Negan and Maggie.
Negan with his lovely baseball bat with barbed wire. Now, to me, the fact that in later Walking Dead spin-offs you have Negan and Maggie paired up and working together is totally unbelievable. And I kind of draw an analogy here with Kylo Ren, or Ben Solo, if you will, with Rey, because Rey was deeply hurt by the death of Han Solo. She'd only known him 5 minutes, of course, but the death of Han really affected her. So would she realistically have come to a stage at any point in time, never mind as rapidly as she did, as to not only seemingly forgive Kylo Ren, but kissing him, and also let's not forget that Kylo Ren, stroke Ben Solo as he had then become, gave his life to save Rey's because Rey had died. Ben gave Rey effectively a second chance at life, and then he faded into the Force. So if there was to be a Ben Solo film, would it be based around a Force ghost? I don't know. As we know, somehow characters can return. So there is a possibility he will be flesh and blood again. But it just feels a little bit off to me. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
Well, I think, and I go back to my theory is it's more interesting to have a character who is the child of Rey and Ben, because then you've got the bloodline of Palpatine and the bloodline of Solo and Skywalker in there. So all you have to do is start a fortnight season, say somehow Kylo slipped Rey the shillelagh, have her pregnant a year after the rise of Skywalker, and then in a flashback, and then fast forward 10, 15 years, and you've got a kid that's the son of Palpatine, Skywalker, and Solo. Now that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
What Paul
kind
McHugh
of personality?
nails this perfectly. Lucasfilm boxed themselves into the corner by announcing a Rian Johnson trilogy. He's now focused on his own franchise, which is doing incredibly well. Can't take that away from him. Now Lucasfilm can't backpedal and admit cancelling his trilogy without losing face because he's gone on and been successful. They were able to cancel Benioff and Weiss's trilogy because they had a really bad last season of the Game of Thrones in most people's eyes. I quite enjoyed it. They're now away developing their own content elsewhere. When people are on the up, like Rian Johnson is on the up, it's very difficult to say I'm cancelling it. And it's the same you can apply to Rogue Squadron with Patty, Taika Waititi. Are those projects happening? Are they not? They're not going to announce that they're cancelled because they are very successful directors, writers, producers in their own right and having successful careers. You cancel them when people are on the down, not when they're on the up. And so the Lucasfilm are in a corner with this. And to be fair to Rian Johnson, he's out there promoting his latest Knives Out film, which I think premieres in the UK in a couple of weeks' time because I had an invite to the premiere. I'm not going. But anyway, it's at the BFI IMAX, I think, towards the end of the month. I was actually interested that J.J. Abrams interviewed him. That was interesting because undoubtedly The Rise of Skywalker tries to undo The Last Jedi. That's not necessarily the choices of J.J. Abrams. He was brought in to sort of end the trilogy, but clearly Lucasfilm pushed whatever agenda they had, and they tried to cycle back. I don't think anyone can argue that. It was very odd choices. I think once you've decided to go a certain way, as they did with The Last Jedi, which Lucasfilm approved, so it's not on Rian Johnson's head entirely. They approved it, and it wasn't like he was a big shot director at the time that they couldn't say no to. They're the people in power. They could have said no to any of his ideas. Once you've committed to that, you've got to follow through. So to me, even if you're a sequel trilogy fan for the first two films, the third film had to disappoint you in some regard on the basis that it never followed through with everything that was supposed to be the case with what else had been what had been laid before you. It was just everything it became sad, I think, by the end of the trilogy. I actually would have preferred The Rise of Skywalker if it just fully committed to what they'd done with The Last Jedi and follow through because, you've made your choices. You've got to live with them. Trying to undo it just made it all seem messy and unworth. But in fairness to him, he's doing fantastically well with his Knives Out series of films and his TV series, and his whole production company's doing incredibly well. So I have no doubt that he's busy and he's focused on that because it's working and it's successful. You can't, at the point when that fails, if it fails and he doesn't just stop it, bring him in when he's on the downward slope, can you? Well, let's now make a trilogy because people hated your last Knives Out film. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but I don't think he's not going to have the same set of problems with that as he would with Star Wars, because there's not the legacy behind it. There's just his own set of rules.
Paul nails it again here. He doesn't want to make another Star Wars in case his franchise nosedives. Rian Johnson has placed himself in a win-win situation. Exactly. And because he's marketing the Knives Out at the moment and he wants press, why not say something positive about Star Wars? Because it's going to go everywhere. And then all of a sudden the people who did like The Last Jedi will check out his latest Knives Out effort. And even people that didn't like The Last Jedi will check it out because they might enjoy that content that he makes. Because I've never once said he's a bad director or bad writer from a technical standpoint. He made creative decisions that I didn't agree with, but his creative decisions were approved by Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he went rogue.
But no, that's all true. But at the same time, like you said before, it split the Star Wars fandom. It really did.
Yeah.
You've got people. It's a Marmite film. You either love it or you hate it. There's no middle ground on it.
I think what made it worse was his language around the criticism, because he was very much combative.
He's defiant.
I didn't want to make a Star Wars film, and I wanted to take that character and effectively destroy that character in every possible way to break that character down and rebuild it as something else. So he's very honest about that's what his intentions were, and I think that just enraged people even more. But some people love that film. You know, that's just opinions. Everyone has one.
Exactly. It's each to their own. But
he'll never be back making Star Wars because, you know, why would Disney approve it when they know it's just going to bring toxicity back? Why would he want to get involved in it again, realistically? Why would he do that to himself? Who wants to put themselves through that other than the politician that used to like getting chained up and whipped? Can't remember. Max Mosley, the F1 guy, that's who I was thinking of. Some people enjoy that kind of thing, other people don't, you know? As I say, everyone's got their own things. But that was never part of the plan for the show.
No, it wasn't. No.
You get random comments on this show. You never know where it's going to go. Max Mosley's kinks was not planned.
And Downton Abbey wasn't either.
Downton Abbey's always planned. You've got to slip a Downton Abbey bit in there.
It's like a
you
meme.
don't know what's in Lady Mary's dungeon. You just don't know.
Well, Max Mosley, apparently.
Max Mosley, possibly, yeah. Actually, we do know what's in Lady Mary's dungeon. It's a collection of Tutankhamun stuff because it's filmed at Highgrove. Highcliffe.
And also her Black Series action figure collection.
Her Black Season action figures. You'll often see her down at Echo Base flogging them just to fix the holes in the roof.
Between a $5 and a $10. Yeah. So we drifted away a little bit from the Ben Solo project.
Oh, we haven't even gotten there yet. Let's bring that up.
We did. We briefly got there.
We did, but we haven't brought the article up. Let's bring the article up. Here we go.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on this, bro? Do you think it's a good idea? Or what context do you think it would be made
in? He's not dead, apparently.
But we saw him.
Not going by social media. Again, right, okay. I like the idea of bringing him back. I think there are ways and means you can bring him back and make it meaningful and work.
Yeah.
Who in Star Wars is ever dead? It's science fiction. If you want to do it, you can do it, I think.
Yeah.
But I posted a few things on social media and I used the hashtag The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it attracts Raylos to you. Like shit to fly. They come when you use that hashtag. Right? And it's never a positive experience. And occasionally you'll find very polite ones who you can have a reasonable discussion of the pros and cons. And next you'll get the next ones who think that they're the most brutally treated section of the fandom and everyone's against them and blah, blah, blah. And then you get the ones that are just toxic. And the toxicity always floats to the top in social media. Every platform awards people who are toxic, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube, whatever. The toxicity always gathers speed. So whilst there may be very nice right Reylos. And there is, because you meet them at Comic Cons dressed up as Rey and Kylo, and they're lovely people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that section of the fandom, like it was when the films were being released, still today is very toxic. I don't believe in awarding toxicity. So I went from thinking, that's a great idea. I'm kind of upset that Disney have stepped in and made a creative decision, because in my opinion, they should be making monetary decisions. So this is your budget. This is how many projects you can release. They should be given full control on creative decisions to the Lucasfilm president and Lucasfilm head of creative. As soon as you start saying no, that's Disney saying no to creativity, you've undermined those people in those positions, and they can no longer exist in those roles, in my opinion. So I think there's a great question mark over both Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni and their ability to continue in their roles. I think if there's another project gets cancelled and it's made public, I don't see how they can continue, which I think is kind of sad, because both of them incredibly talented people at what they do. Whether you like their content or not, nobody can take away their success in their careers. And so I went from, I would really like a Ben Solo project. I think Adam Driver's a fantastic actor, and if he's very much involved in the creative, this could be a really special project.
Yeah.
And as the days have gone on and the interactions with the Reylos have increased, I've changed my tune entirely. I don't want them to make it. Just to fuck him off. And that's as harsh as I can possibly be.
You've just pushed us into an 18 certificate.
I did. I just said I self-censored there. I just said I hacked them off.
I know.
But it's just, again, it's returning Star Wars to toxicity that do we really need.
Yeah. Now, I kind of go more towards how you originally felt. I think Ben Solo returning, thank you, Liam. I think Ben Solo returning would be good to see how Adam Driver acted as Ben Solo. I mean, we got a hint of it, obviously, at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. But to see a more complete version of what Ben Solo would be like is interesting. I think it would be a harder thing for Adam to actually portray than it was with Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren, you just got to act badass and miserable and moody and grumpy and teenage-like. But
here's my question then.
It's how they get to that point.
Based on what we've been received of the characters so far, of Rey, Kylo, Finn, do they warrant being given more time in films?
I don't think Daisy Ridley is a bad actor. I thought she did very well in The Force Awakens. I thought that her ability in 8 and 9 was more down to the script, the story, rather than her acting. There were a couple of very wooden scenes, but I think that's because she hated the script. I think she was just sort of like reacting against it.
Yeah.
And
I think she's, I'm not saying she's a great actor, she's very competent. She did some emotional scenes incredibly well. There were some scenes that were pretty terrible too. You can't always blame that on the actor.
No. She jointly, I was talking to somebody today about this, jointly along with Harrison Ford, she acted her socks off in The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
she threw everything at it. She really did.
Yeah. The two of them, you could say, were they were key to that story. The Last Jedi, not so much, and The Rise of Skywalker, not so much. But I think given the right script and given the right intention for the character, I think yes, she should come back as Rey. I think probably the relationship between her and Ben Solo is acceptable. It was the relationship between her and Kylo Ren that wasn't. It all goes back to like the end of the original trilogy. It's all about redemption, and the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. Anakin suddenly becomes the hero that he always should have been, rather than the villain of Darth Vader. And you can understand Luke then sort of being upset about the death of his father, whereas if it had been the death of Darth Vader without any redemption, it would have just been, good. Again, it's like what George Lucas always says. It's like poetry; it repeats itself. The potential that they could do with Ben Solo is really what they could have done at the end of the original Star Wars trilogy, had they been able to bring Anakin back to life.
Here's the complication I'm going to throw in here. Okay. Simon Kinberg's supposed to be working on a new trilogy.
Yeah.
Should that new trilogy, because it's supposed to be 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Should it be a continuation of the Skywalker saga? Yeah. And thus, you need a Skywalker, and you don't have one.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Unfortunate timing for a sneeze. You don't have a Skywalker, because as much as Rey can call herself a Skywalker, she's not.
No, she's not.
She's a Palpatine. It's actually more interesting to have a Palpatine series of films.
It goes back to what you were saying.
Saga next.
Yeah.
Instead of the Skywalker saga. But if you haven't him doing 10, 11, 12, should he be continuing it with the existing characters, or should it just be all fresh? Because if it should be all fresh, which I think it should be, an entirely new saga set in the Star Wars galaxy,
then he doesn't need to be 10, 11, 12.
If you start doing films with Rey or Ben or Finn or Poe, doesn't that undermine his saga somewhat?
Well, it certainly means it doesn't need to be 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah, I wouldn't do 10, 11, 12. I would call it the Palpatine saga and start it at 1 again.
Yeah, yeah.
But there we go. That was just me. I can actually see Rey getting a film or popping up in a film somewhere. I can see Kylo or Ben getting a film.
Yeah.
I don't know about Finn because his character dropped off so much. I just don't know where you go with his character.
I felt really sorry for the actor because what he was given in 8 and 9 was shocking.
It was.
Finn
he was quite right
really
to be outraged, really.
Yeah, he was. John Boyega had every right because Finn was a really promising character. And so, as was Oscar Isaac as Poe. That was
I was going to say, I can see him getting a TV show. So I can't see these characters getting used. I just don't know if I'm particularly enamoured with the thought of it.
Yeah. It's interesting to see what's going to happen. I mean, they're pitching Starfighter as a standalone one-of-one films. If it did exceptionally well, they're not going to just stop there. They'll carry that story.
You'll find that Starfighter has a lot more connections to the existing Star Wars story than people perhaps expect at this point in time.
I think there's things that you and I have both heard that would lead us to that conclusion. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't know. I've kind of gone from thinking it would be great. More to the point, I would love to have Adam Driver back. So I think he is the Harrison Ford of the sequel trilogy. He is the actor of exceptional ability who will go on to have the most successful career.
Yeah.
And I also like when an actor loves a character so much that they want to be involved in the creation of it.
Yeah.
But isn't given the right, you create it, they've actually we're going to work with you and we'll pitch ideas about it and we'll get a proper writer in and we'll write a proper script. Not given said actor his own comic as certain other Star Wars actors have been. And so I don't have a problem with that. And you're seeing that with Ryan Gosling in Starfighter. I think you're seeing that with Daisy Ridley when it comes to Rey. Although, how many attempts at a script before you realise what are we doing here?
That is not going to happen. Fingers crossed.
I think they've backed themselves into a corner and that they think they can't make new Star Wars without having some connection to the past 9. I disagree. I would go afresh, jump it forward 20 years and let's just start and just call them the grandkids if you need to of Rey's child. And let's forget about the Rey character and just let's move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. In many ways, the sequel trilogy would have probably been better without Han, Luke, and Leia in it because we wouldn't have had that emotional you know,
in some ways, yes. In other ways, in terms of the ways that they used those characters, it was poor.
We needed at least one scene with them all in together.
Why you wouldn't? It's just beggars belief.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. And I also include Lando in that as well. I'd like to have seen the four of them together.
Yeah, he was treated badly.
He was, yeah. Yeah.
But we could throw around our own how to improve Star Wars theories all night, Paul.
We could. But I think we've probably done enough for today.
This isn't going to go away because Bob Iger's going to leave.
Yeah.
Alan Bergman is probably going to leave when the new CEO comes in because it's not going to be him.
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy is going to leave. I think there's big questions over Dave Filoni, unfortunately, as well.
Really?
On the basis that he's been undermined on this and it's been made public, that's difficult to recover from. His Ahsoka TV show hasn't done spectacularly well. If The Mandalorian and Grogu doesn't succeed in the big film, can your head of creative survive when he's been so heavily involved in the projects? That's a difficult one.
Well, a lot
he
of
would be
hinges
a massive loss to the company.
Yeah. A lot of hinges not only on those that you've mentioned, but also season 2 of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But
fingers crossed.
If you start thinking that those 4 characters are gone, you're almost clean slate, and you've almost got everything on that shelf at Lucasfilm can get dusted down and brought back on the table.
And likewise, things that were promised could also disappear as well.
Yep. Like Droid Tales, the movie.
Which, that's
Lando,
going to be
the movie. Rogue Squadron, the movie. Taika Waititi's film, the movie.
Yeah.
Every other movie that's been announced that isn't already in production.
The movie.
Simon Kinberg's trilogy.
Yeah, it could all disappear. Yeah.
And would it surprise you? Because it's happened so many times before. I think I ran down a list of cancelled projects in last week's show, and so many amazing directors and projects that sound exciting and just haven't happened.
This is it. Eventually you're going to run out of choices.
Yeah, there's certainly they're earning a bad reputation in the industry as it comes to the way that writers and directors are being treated, and especially because either they announce the writers and directors and then cancel on them, or the writers or directors get leaked.
Yeah. I think it's going to be seen by many as the kiss of death, isn't it?
It does, because you've got people who have done incredibly well, like the creator of Lost, like the creator of Peaky Blinders, who've been brought in quite publicly for the Rey film, who you've then ditched. They're not going to see that as being good for their reputations. No. So it's not like you're going to get that kind of talent, are not going to keep putting themselves in the position of, you know what, I don't want to work for that company because rather than elevate me to the next level, it's probably going to drag me down.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly the phrase I was going to say, drag me down. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
on that,
gone through the news. We've torn everyone apart. Pretty much put everyone on warning that you're going to lose your job just before Christmas. You should go and watch Pluribus about the most miserable person in the world and how she's responsible for many millions of people dying every time she gets angry and upset.
Well, it cheered you up.
Yeah, it did. It cheered me up. I loved it. It just felt so relatable. And I think on that point, we should look forward to this week's episode of Making Tracks, I believe, is coming out. Mr. Newball's going to drop that information in the comments if he's still watching very shortly. I think they're going to be talking about Rian Johnson and his potential trilogy as well. Should be coming out on your Father Tracks Radio stream this week. Tune in for that because Mark's not commenting. He's clearly fallen asleep.
Hey, I'm very tired.
Or he's typing very slowly. And on that news, Newball's checked out. I think we should call it a night, Paul.
Why not? Why not?
He's still there. He's still there. Type us. Tell us what's coming up in Making Tracks while we drag this out just for another few seconds, Mark.
Well, I'm
your
sure
plans
that
this week, Paul.
Oh, this week, right? Okay, I've got loads of stuff to edit and put together, and some little filming jobs I've got with various clients. And then at the end of the week, I'm at an award ceremony for a magazine of mine that is up for Magazine of the Year in the Midlands Media Awards. So that's Shropshire Business Magazine. Come on, you can do this. You can do this.
I'm going to be working on a series of articles for Fantasy Tracks I hope to start dropping very soon on the financials. On the making of Star Wars. I'm going to be tearing apart the information that's out there from other sources for being fundamentally wrong. And I'm going to tell the truth as to what we know and what we don't know, and in a very truthful manner. And it'll change people's perspectives, I think.
Excellent.
So we'll wait and see in that, see how quick those articles develop. But I'm working away in the background at them. And we have the news from Mark that Making Tracks is back on Tuesday, collecting tracks on Friday. So
we carried on for that. And listen out, over the coming weeks, there's going to be various interviews from the Surrey convention. I think between Mark and myself, we had a chat with around 20 to 25 different guests. Nice little short interviews. Some people that you won't have heard from before, and others that you will have heard over the years. And there you go. He's saying the same.
There you go. We waited for that, and we knew it all already.
Yeah, of course we did. Of course we did.
He's too slow with his typing this week. We'll get him. We'll get him improved for next week, people.
He's knocking on a bit now, bro. He's knocking on a bit.
On that bombshell, I think it's fair to say it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him. Good night.
Good night.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on FanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at FanthaTracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow Fantha Tracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.